To understand Southern culture during this era, we must first examine the economy, which was deeply intertwined with the institution of slavery. The Southern economy was primarily agrarian, heavily reliant on the cultivation of cash crops such as cotton, tobacco, and rice. The invention of the cotton gin by Eli Whitney in 1793 revolutionized cotton production, making it the dominant cash crop in the South and leading to a significant increase in the demand for enslaved labor. By the 1850s, cotton had become the backbone of the Southern economy, accounting for over half of the nation's exports. This economic reliance on slavery not only shaped the South's agricultural practices but also defined its social hierarchy. Wealthy plantation owners, who often held hundreds of enslaved individuals, wielded significant political and economic power. They controlled vast resources and maintained a lifestyle characterized by luxury, power, and influence, which fostered an elite class that viewed itself as the guardians of Southern culture and values. This plantation economy created a distinct regional identity that revolved around agrarian and a romanticized view of the rural lifestyle. It perpetuated the notion of the Southern gentleman, a figure who was expected to uphold honor and hospitality while managing a sprawling estate. This cultural archetype served to reinforce class distinctions and the importance of land ownership as a symbol of status. In contrast, the majority of white Southerners, including small farmers and laborers, found themselves at the bottom of the social hierarchy, creating a complex class structure. Many small farmers aspired to the lifestyle of the plantation elite, believing that hard work and economic success could elevate their social status. This aspiration reinforced the South's commitment to the institution of slavery, as even non-slaveholders saw the system as a means to economic success. However, this reliance on a single crop economy created vulnerabilities, particularly as cotton prices fluctuated. The lack of industrialization and diversification left the South economically dependent on cotton, making it vulnerable to external pressures such as economic downturns or changes in global demand for cotton. Additionally, the Southern economy's growth was directly linked to the expansion of slavery into new territories, making the debates over the extension of slavery a contentious issue in national politics. Southern society was characterized by strict social hierarchies and a rigid class system. At the top were the plantation elite, often referred to as the cottonocracy. These individuals were wealthy, politically influential, and considered the guardians of the Southern culture and values. They adhered to a code of honor that emphasized hospitality, social responsibility, and maintaining the family legacy. This code often dictated behavior and interactions, fostering a culture that valued reputation and social standing. Beneath the elite were the small farmers, who constituted the majority of the white population. While they did not own enslaved individuals, many aspired to upward mobility, influenced by the values of the plantation class. This aspiration reinforced the South's commitment to the institution of slavery, as even non-slaveholders viewed it as a symbol of status and economic potential. Many white Southerners justified the institution of slavery, believing that it was essential for maintaining their agricultural economy and preserving their way of life. At the bottom of this social hierarchy were the enslaved individuals, who constituted a significant portion of the Southern population. By 1860, there were approximately 4 million enslaved people in the South. Enslaved individuals lived under brutal conditions, facing violence and oppression, while being denied basic human rights. The plantation system was designed to maximize profit, leading to inhuman treatment of enslaved workers, including long hours, harsh discipline, and little regard for family ties. Despite these hardships, enslaved individuals developed a vibrant culture that blended African traditions with American influences. This culture included distinctive forms of music, dance, and oral storytelling, all of which played crucial roles in their communities. Religion was a central aspect of Southern culture, significantly influencing social values and community life. The South was predominantly Protestant, with denominations like Methodism, Baptism experiencing rapid growth during the Second Great Awakening. Revivals and camp meetings served as crucial gatherings that brought communities together, reinforcing moral values and fostering a sense of belonging. For white Southerners, religion often served to justify the institution of slavery. Many ministers preached that slavery was a divinely ordained system, arguing that enslaved individuals were better off in bondage. This religious justification contributed to the moral and ideological foundation of the South's social order, creating a dichotomy between the perceived virtues of the South and the alleged moral failings of the North. In contrast, enslaved individuals developed their own religious practices, often blending African traditions with Christianity. These spiritual practices provided a sense of hope and community amid oppression, allowing enslaved individuals to find strength in their faith. The church became a sanctuary for many, where they could gather in safety, share experiences, and build a sense of community. Spirituals served not only as forms of artistic expression, but also as powerful tools for resistance, allowing enslaved people to communicate their desires for freedom and connection to their African roots. Women played a significant role in shaping Southern culture, particularly within the context of the plantation household. Southern women were expected to embody the ideals of femininity, characterized by purity and domesticity. They managed the household, overseeing enslaved workers and ensuring that the family adhered to social norms and expectations. The domestic sphere was often viewed as the proper domain for women, reinforcing the idea that their primary responsibility was to nurture and educate children. However, the role of women in the South was not entirely passive. Some women took on active roles in social reform movements. Notable figures emerged from prominent slaveholding families and became vocal abolitionists, challenging the very foundation of the society they were raised in. Their efforts illustrated the potential for women to engage in broader cultural and social debates, arguing that the oppression of women and the institution of slavery were intertwined struggle. While many Southern women found themselves confined to domestic roles, others leveraged their positions to influence community and family decisions. The cult of domesticity emphasized their role as moral guardians of the family, creating an environment where women could advocate for social causes within the acceptable bounds of their societal roles. However, this ideal also contributed to the defense of slavery, as women were often portrayed as protectors of their families against perceived threats from abolitionists and northern reformers. Southern culture found expression through literature and the arts, as writers sought to articulate the unique experiences and values of the region. Authors such as Edgar Allan Poe and Mark Twain explored themes of morality, identity, and social justice, while others focused specifically on the Southern experience. The romanticized depiction of plantation life became a popular theme in literature, portraying a nostalgic view of the antebellum South. This idealization often masked the harsh realities of slavery and the struggles of enslaved individuals, creating a romantic narrative that appealed to both Southern audiences and Northern readers. Works such as Gone with the Wind would later perpetuate this view, reinforcing the myth of the lost cause, which romanticized the Confederacy and the antebellum South. Additionally, folk traditions and oral storytelling played a vital role in preserving Southern culture. Stories passed down through generations reflected the region's history, values, and struggles, serving as a means of cultural identity for both white and black communities. These narratives often highlighted themes of resilience, community, and the enduring spirit of those who faced oppression, providing a counter-narrative to the dominant cultural discourse.